Read Luke Fickell's comments, and unless I'm reading them wrong or mistaken, I believe he's under the impression that these waivers are decided coach to coach in some kind of deal fashion, and that is not the understanding that I'm under. I'm under the understanding that the NCAA decides these waivers, and unless he has something that he can bring forth and share and enlighten us and the entire football world, I would really like to know what that is, because he called me in March and asked me about, specifically he wanted to know about the position switch that James was switched from defensive line to offensive line. And I told him, I said, yeah, I mean, after 2 weeks of practice watching James at defensive line, I personally, not other coaches, I went up to him and said, James, I think you got the body type to be a really good offensive tackle. We don't mandate what positions players play at the University of Michigan. You can compete at whatever position that you want. Do you want to try it out? He did. Turned out that he was really good at that offensive line position, and that's what I told Coach Fickell, exactly the way it happened when I talked to James on the field that day. And then Coach Fickell tried to coach me on how to say it different, and I told him, Coach, I mean, I believe in telling the truth, forthright, honest. What I told James, what I tell you, what I tell compliance is going to be the truth. As I said, I read the article. He asked the question in the article, what's most important? Your personal beliefs or what's in the best interest of the kid? And I can answer that. What's most important is the truth. And when he says if he's questioning what my personal beliefs are, then that's what I believe in. I believe in being forthright, honest, and telling the truth. I'm astounded that he's gotten to where he's at by not knowing the answer to that question. Because I go back to, he keeps trying to make it about that it's Michigan has blocked the transfer waiver, or Michigan has somehow decided not to grant this waiver. And that's, again, not how this process works in my understanding. As it related to the waiver, I didn't write the waiver. Our compliance asked me one question. They asked me the question of, tell us about how did the process happen with James switching from defensive line to offensive line. The same thing I told you just now, I told James on the field that day, and I told Coach Fickell. That's the only part that I've been asked to, talk about by our compliance department. And whoever I deal with, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to tell the truth. So if he's asking what my personal beliefs are in a different way, that's well documented. My personal beliefs on this are that a football player should have the right that they've never had, which is that they should be able to choose what school they attend and where they play football, and have the one-time ability to transfer schools. That's how I personally feel about this issue. That's well documented, and I do believe that's in the best interest of the young men who play football and play any other sport in college. That it's their decision to make and their family's decision to make. But that's really what I have to say about that.
Okay, we get him moving to a meeting. So,
I was just, what did Fickell want you to say? What was his version that he wanted you to abide by?
As I said, he tried to coach me into saying it differently, not saying it that way. And I said, and I told him, I'm not going to lie. That I can tell you, man. I'm going to tell the truth. So that's, yeah, didn't like the version that I was given.
All right, thank you.
Not supporting anything.
Yep, sure. Did you have something else on that?
No.
Have you spoken with Fickell since this all unfolded?
No. That was the one time that he called in March, and I even told him in March. I said, Coach, my understanding of this is, you seem to think that there's something that this is some kind of coach to coach. We're going to work a deal here, and that's not my understanding of how this process works. It didn't work that way when Shea Patterson was transferred from Ole Miss to the University of Michigan. I mean, I was told I wouldn't have any involvement in it. That would be the two compliance departments would talk, the NCAA would decide the eligibility of Shea Patterson. You asked me on several occasions, what do you know about Shea Patterson? I don't know anything. I'm not involved in it. I can go back and look at your notes. I wasn't involved in it, didn't talk to his lawyer, didn't talk to his family. I said, whatever the NCAA decides will be what happens. We like Shea being here, whether he's eligible immediately or whether he has a city year residence.
So where is this coming from that, there's the story, and I think the UC, maybe it's Fickell saying that Michigan blocked this. I mean, where is that coming from? Michigan didn't,
Coming from Luke Fickell.
but Michigan did not.
Erroneous.
But Michigan did not block Hudson.
Michigan did not block the waiver. No,
The
did not
verbiage.
stand in it. We wish James Hudson well, but that is not in the coach's hands. It's not in the university's hands. It's not in his hands. It's the way the process works right now. Those waivers are decided by the NCAA. Good.
Thank you.
Thanks.